There we are. All right. How
Yeah,
you
that was
doing,
weird.
man? Yeah, it kept going right to your voicemail.
Yeah, that's weird. And then when I would answer, it would just be my voice back. It was very strange. But anyway, we're good.
We're good. Cool. So, all right. Well, dude, I guess gotta be pretty excited, man. Like the album's out now, so happy times are upon you.
Thank you, brother. Yeah, I mean, you can't ask for anything more than, being a musician, being a singer-songwriter, and your album's coming out, and you're leaving for a big arena tour, and I'm very I have a lot to be thankful for.
Yeah, it's awesome. Now, with the whole Beasto Blanco band, which first off, like, what is a Beasto Blanco? I mean, it almost sounds like a horror cartoon character or something.
Sure, it could be that. It's Beasto Blanco. Some people say Blanco, but it's pronounced Blanco, like the last name. It's very simple. I mean, we wanted to give the music, it sort of has this animalistic sound to it. I remember describing it as it just sounded like a beast. I feel like that on stage when I'm singing these songs and performing these songs, and when I was writing them, we wanted to give the music a name. We also wanted to, since it was a new identity for me coming out of being the bass player and stepping up and being the front man and playing guitar, we also wanted to have something that I could summon to face the fears and use as a way for me to overstep any doubt that's coming in my mind. And the name Beasto Blanco just basically means that it could be your spirit animal. It's the thing you need to do to push yourself through things that you're uncomfortable doing in life, or maybe you have some fearful thoughts about, and you want to move forward. It's also just a way to describe the sound of the band, and with that description, you can also just use your imagination for what the imagery would be. Sure.
Now, you had mentioned right there, and that was something I wanted to ask. Why did you make the switch with this from bass over to guitar?
It was something that we talked about at the beginning, was that I had a lot of visions about what I wanted the stage show to look like, and at times I actually would imagine myself not having a guitar at all. There was something about that I liked. There was something about, the old school Meatloaf stage show would look like with him and the girls singing together. It was also some sort of way Calico and I could interact to be sort of the Bonnie and Clyde, if you will, characters, and it frees me up a little bit to become part of that than being confined with the guitar. So instead of always playing bass, in order to free myself up, it would work better if I played rhythm guitar. And I'm not a bad rhythm guitar player, so it worked out all right.
Nice. Now, how did the whole idea come up with Calico being part of the band?
It's a good question. I've always wanted to work with Calico. I've always thought she's an amazing entertainer and a great singer. So when we were writing the first record, there was a couple parts where I had envisioned a female singing the backgrounds, and that song was Breakdown. So Calico came into the studio to track vocals for that. It was then we'd realized that what we had stumbled upon was something even bigger and better than we had imagined. So we had her sing a couple more tracks on the record. I asked her to be part of the show, and we from then just started developing what her character is and what her role in the show was on that Live Fast Die Loud record. And it became very obvious of what we had to do and how we wanted to approach her part for the second record, and to just kind of give her a little bit more responsibility as the lead singer as well, and just sort of hone in on her role and her character in the band on and off stage. So it's just something that just keeps growing and growing, and we're figuring out more and more just how to turn it into something.
Right. Now, how about like when this whole thing was like, the idea in your head and you're putting it all together, do you turn around and go to Alice, say, hey, I'm thinking about forming this band, and, do you like almost ask for permission first?
No, it has nothing to do with that. Yeah, I'm a singer. I'm a songwriter. I don't need anybody's permission to write songs by any mean. I mean, I know that Alice, on top of him being, my boss and somebody I play bass for in his band, he's also my friend, and I know he's going to support me with my endeavors, just like I would with him. So it wasn't really so much asking for permission. It was almost like me showing up with this brand new baby going, look what I've created. And just to see the excitement in his eyes and have his take on it. He's always been a real fan of mine in a sense as he knows what I'm capable of, and he knows that I'm always out there doing something, and he loves to use as much of it as he can for himself, but he knows that not all of it fits into the Alice Cooper umbrella as well. So we were able to. He knows that I've got a lot to offer, and he's happy to see this thing growing wings and starting to take flight. That's
awesome. And he's got to be probably ecstatic, too, about his daughter being part of it.
He loves it. He knows that we're both having a great time doing this together, and for her to be out there kind of doing her thing. And she's so great at it that it just seems so it's just so obvious that that's where she belongs.
That's awesome. Now, I saw, too, in an interview you did where you said, you really want this to be known, like this isn't like a side project. This is like a real band.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's true. It's a family. It's a band of brothers and sisters. It's 5 individuals that have taken time away from their families and their jobs and their loved ones as well to go out there and be creative and do something that they believe is worthy of people taking notice to. It's their art. Sure. Everybody is creative and everybody is celebrated in our band. It's not just about me because I'm in Alice Cooper. That's not fair to the talent of Brother Latham. You listen to this new record, that guy is a phenomenal guitar player. You listen to Jan and Tim, they're just rock solid rhythm section, and Calico Cooper, obviously such a super talent in her own right. I can't just make it about myself because that's not fair to them, but it's certainly not fair to the audience. There's so much that each individual in this band has to offer. We're out to entertain. We're out to show people what our art is like, what our creativity is like, what our family and our band of brothers and sisters is like. So I can't do it without them.
Right. I think it speaks like volumes too. Like, in this era and day of music where so many people are doing side projects and numerous bands, where you just like put it right out there. Like, this isn't a side project. This is real. This is a band, and this is a priority. It's not just something we're doing on the side.
It is. Absolutely. I don't believe in that. I don't believe in just, having a side project because I can't imagine somebody believing it if I tell them, well, this is just something I do on the weekends. You're not going to believe it. I'm telling you right now, I'm going to grab you by your collar and I'm going to squeeze your shirt collar. I'm going to bring you right up to my face and I'm going to look you in the eye and say, no, this is a lifestyle. I believe in this. Then you're going to pay attention. And that's Absolutely. The truth, because that's the way I honestly feel about it.
That's freaking awesome. So, all right, so the new album, now you guys self-titled this album. No little name to go with it. It's just that, self-titled. So why did you go that way?
Well, it's our sophomore release, and we figured people they know about Beasto now. They certainly have heard the name before. They know we're making some waves, and I just wanted it to be simply that. I don't want them to get lost in a title of a record where I want them to just be curious enough to go, well, what is Beasto Blanco? Because I really feel we've honed in on who we are as a band on this second record. We're definitely growing as musicians. We're growing as songwriters. Our identity is taking even a bigger shape. There's more to listen to on this album. As much as we love the first album, I think sonically that first album is just a, kick you in the balls, kicking ass type of record, just on 10 the whole time. And so is the second record, but you'll hear us taking some risks and taking some different approaches to things. And all of that is intentional because we know where the gaps are in our show. If we're just going to play everything off the one record, we're sort of stuck in this one little vortex, but now we add these different tempos and all this different lyric content and these different imagery that goes with it that sort of fills in the gaps and turns this thing into a full concert.
Right. Wow. Now, and I guess you can kind of relate that too, to where doing your own style of something where you guys did the cover of "Feed My Frankenstein."
Sure. Well, so what's your question?
It's like, I mean, you guys really made it your own. I mean, it's different. It's a Beasto Blanco version. It's not like you guys just, all right, let's just do the cover of Alice's song just the way Alice does it.
No, exactly, and that was something that we definitely were thinking, how do we make this our own? You know, it was, I like to say, a lot of the Beasto Blanco success has really happened organically. It's just a lot of things. I try not to overthink things too much. I don't try to fit things that don't belong. I like to see them just naturally flow and take their course naturally how it's going to be. Something that's good will stay with you. It'll flow with you the whole time. So I had no idea what we were going to do with Feed My Frankenstein. All I know is that we have a session tomorrow with our producer, and he knows we're recording the cover Feed My Frankenstein. That's all we knew. We had no idea really what we were going to do, except I had this idea of what I wanted Calico and I to be like. I wanted it to sound similar to, how do we create this Little Red Riding Hood, Big Bad Wolf situation? That's what I hear this as being.
Nice.
How do or is she Dr. Frankenstein? Am I the Beast? What is it? That was just an imagery that I had. We had talked about taking sort of an approach similar to the song Death Rattle, where we're making it a little bit more swampier and bluesier, and Chris just started playing it on acoustic guitar, and then I start singing. Maybe at the first time we passed through it was, oh, well, this could be Calico's verse, and as it started to take shape, we really just kind of came in there with just a map of what we wanted to do without really knowing what we were going to play. It was more just a blueprint. I was fortunate enough, again, organically, we surround ourselves with talented people, and we had the pleasure of working with one of the best in the business, Ryan Green, who was able to look at this blueprint of what we wanted to do and said, okay, this is where we're going to start. And we tracked that song. It took us probably 2 days. And It turned out phenomenal. I am so proud of the version that we did because, yes, it is so original until it gets to the chorus where it needs to smack you in the face, because some people, they're hearing it and they go, well, what song is this? And all of a sudden they think, oh, my God, I knew it. I love that song. And that's what the idea was, to make the listener think for a second. Well, that sounds familiar.
Yeah, it's funny, too, because actually I was playing it for my wife last night. And she was looking at me. She's like, and then it kicks in. She's like, all right, I got it.
Yeah, that's exactly what it's supposed to be like, and it's like that for the whole record's like that. You know, we took a different approach on this record. We took a different approach lyrically on this record. I mean, if you listen to the first record compared to the second record, you'll hear differences. You'll hear growth as a band. I co-wrote this album with my wife, who is an amazing lyricist, poet. She's an incredible writer, and we started collaborating on lyrics on the first record. But really, I took advantage of her gift for the second record, and she has written every lyric on that album, on this record, and along with Sadhana, that's her poem, and Nobody Knows the Beast Better than my wife. Yeah, and she was really a special addition to this album, and making it an incredible story.
Now, does she come into the studio as well and help out as you guys are working on stuff? No, we pretty much co-wrote everything here in my studio in Nashville, and then I would just take this big box of goodies with me and go to Los Angeles and start tracking. And I think it's not until just recently she's actually heard the whole thing in its entirety. Oh, wow. Because there was only so much we could, I could. It's a very funny situation because it's our first approach with writing together. And as you know, probably you're a married man as well. We knew what we were really good at and what we still needed to work on as recording artists together. So I
I felt that it was important that I was able to take some of these ideas, and then I could then go in with my team of people, and we would then fine tune it all. But not much changed from the demo versions, other than the sounds and the things that we were creating in the studio. Obviously, that changes a lot, but it was a fun process, and I also just really wanted to kind of surprise her with what she had created at this such raw level, and then present her with the finished product. It's been high fives all the way around in this household.
Now I got to ask, because me being a married man, and my wife helps me out with things with the show and our website and all. And I'm a guy who's like a control freak, and she always says I have tunnel vision. So times we'll argue about things because I just am very stubborn and hard-headed and won't. I think my way is the right way. So did you guys get any little tips while writing music?
Absolutely. We found ourselves arguing about stuff that we never even had thought about arguing about before in our relationship, and we've been together for many, many years. This was our first time writing together. It was actually, at one point I just realized, I'm looking at her, I just started laughing, and she goes, "What is so funny?" And I said, "What's funny is, like, think about what we're arguing about. We're arguing about a song that we are creating together." And very much I was very stubborn and very set in my ways about the way I wanted things to work out. And the one thing she would tell me is like, "Hey, stop and just listen to this idea, just to this one approach." And those, I think, are some of the better things that happened out of it, was that I was able to take a step back and go, well, wait a minute, maybe I do go to that chord there, or maybe I do try that melody. And I'm sure glad I did, because I think some of those are some of the sweetest spots on the record. But she had to as well. It really took both of us kind of putting our hands up in the air at the same time and saying, "Hey, look, it's for the greater good." And not only that, but how fortunate are we that we have the opportunity to do this record together, and it's getting done. We're not just sitting here talking about it. Like, this process is working. And it's like with any album, when you work as hard as you do on, and maybe even just a painting or anything for that matter, when you spend as much hard work working on stuff and your own creativeness working on your art, you're always going to look at it as, it could be a little bit better. This could have changed a little bit. And I still listen to that. I listen to the record completely different than most people do, because I'm going to sit there and nitpick it. But at some point, you got to give up. You got to put your hands up. You got to say, "Hey, it's done. I need now to let it go so I can move on to the next." So we're already in the process of writing for the third album. And we're even more excited to do it this time because we sort of know that we got one out of the way and we can do it. And our marriage survived. I wasn't sure if it was, but it did.
But,
but we wouldn't be human beings if that wasn't the case, bro. I mean, that's, you can't just have the perfect lifestyle. You can't just throw a fit and get angry and have somebody cower and run from you and say, yes, you're right. What fun is that? Then you're just a dictator. You're just a bully. And nobody wants that.
No. And I guess, too, in a way, it can also bring you closer. I mean, because you're diving into things that are inside you, putting it down on paper, and, it's more of a way to learn even more about each other.
Well, yeah, absolutely. It works that way. I mean, she's recognizing now that here I am doing interview after interview, and everybody's talking about these songs. Well, she has invested interest in these songs. She has put her heart and her soul in these songs. So she's sitting there going, well, what'd they say? I want to know, And she reads the reviews, and she's more involved now. And I think she's proud of what she's accomplished. And absolutely, awesome. It's very important.
That's awesome. So, all right, so you guys are actually hitting the road. Like next week, you're heading to Germany?
Yeah, we're leaving. I actually leave tomorrow for Germany. We've got 19 shows coming up with Bushi's Uncles. I don't know if you're familiar with them, but very big German band. and they are an incredible rock band with an amazing discography and just a very huge band over there. And we've been honored to be asked to be the opening band for their upcoming arena tour. So we're going to go take off and go do that. Looking forward to it. Very
cool. And then you're going to be hitting the States, I guess, early next year?
Yep. Then we'll go back out Midwest, Illinois, into Nashville, Alabama, Atlanta, making our way down to the Tampa area to get on that Monsters of Rock cruise.
Oh, cool.
And go work on our TANs.
Now, how about Philadelphia? Like, will there be any Philadelphia dates in the future?
I know. And I get asked this a lot, man, and I so badly want to go to Philly. I so badly want to go to Omaha. There's so many places that I want to take this thing on the road, and we're working on that. And it's really is a process, and in order to do it right, we got to have the right team of people behind us, making sure that these shows are getting booked properly and that we're able to do it correctly. And
right.
and that's the process we're going through right now. I used to think, oh yeah, you put a band together, boom, and everybody's just going to come banging on your door, and you're going to just have thousands and thousands of shows to deal with, and screaming fans, and it's a lot of work nowadays. It takes a lot of hard work to do what we're doing, and we have no real time to just do it. We have to really, really do it, because I think we have something here that's just too important to not get the point across.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Very cool. So, all right. So where can everybody buy the album and physically actually buy it or download? Name all them.
So right now, you can go to www.livefastdieloud.com, which will direct you to the record company's website, where there you can get a physical copy of the CD along with some bundles that he has, T-shirts and little goodies and stuff like that. If you're a digital download person, just go to iTunes, type in Beasto Blanco, and you'll pre-order the record, which will be out November 25th. But if you pre-order now, you'll get Grind and Feed My Frankenstein as an instant download. So you got a couple songs to hold you over for the next, 9-10 days?
Nice. Very, very good. Cool.
All right, man.
Very exciting.
Thank you, sir.
Absolutely. And one more thing before I let you go, if I can just get you to cut a quick ID. This is Chuck Garric of Beasto Blanco and Alice Cooper, and you're listening to Totally Driven Radio.
Totally Driven Radio. You got it. Ready?
Go. Yep.
Hey, this is Chuck Garric from Beasto Blanco and Alice Cooper. You're listening to Totally Driven Radio. Crank it.
Cool. Chuck, thanks so much, man. Take care, and good luck over in Germany.
My pleasure, man. Thank you. Thank you for thinking about us and taking the time to do the interview. I'll talk to you soon.
You got it. Take care.
Take care. Bye-bye.